your ball in the trees and then you live out the park. But if you've got a little time, then come and spend it with us, 'cause now you're listening to the Rough Cut.
Hello, and welcome down to another episode of the Rough Cut Golf Podcast. And you join us in sunny California for an announcement that is going to change what we do on YouTube and on social media forever. And if you do enjoy the videos, then hopefully it is going to improve, enhance, and give you more enjoyment from the content that we make as well. We are here in the United States of America for a very special announcement. We are signing a brand partnership with Titleist.
Woo-hoo! Congratulations.
Thank you. So, yeah, this has been a long time in the making. I'm going to explain exactly what this means moving into the next few years, the differences and the changes that it's going to make. And I believe they're all pretty much going to be for the positive. If you do have any questions, get down to those comments below if you're watching on YouTube. We do have a Discord as well, which is linked in the description. If you're listening to this on your drive, on your gym session, or just generally sat on the toilet, well, you can go check them out as well. Hey, listen.
That's far too long to spend on the toilet.
We have listeners all over the world.
We do.
And they listen in very many different situations. And I am not going to negate our loo audience.
Yeah, I was just thinking about what situations people might be in when they listen to the podcast. I've listened to it on a drive to the golf course, like get yourself in a kind of golfy mindset. So that one works.
What, this exact podcast? Or like
I've listened to our podcast a few times, yeah. I just got, quality control.
It's already gone out at that point.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, like on the way to a golf course, while you're doing your putting practice on the green before you go out. But then, if this was imagine your alarm, you wake up in the morning, first thing you hear is Peter Finch's voice. That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of where people have listened,
even I don't like that.
Yeah,
and I'm me.
Your own voice.
I don't speak for the first hour of the day, just so it improves my mood.
Yeah, in fact, when Pete came out of his room this morning, and I had been up for an hour, just pottering about and doing old man stuff. Pete came out into the kitchen in our lovely Airbnb, and I said, "Oh, morning." He goes, "No."
Too early for the positivity. I mean, it's kind of hard not to be positive out here. The sun is literally been shining every day since we've been here. It's beautiful. Well, we think it's beautifully warm. Everyone here is walking around with sweaters on, or as they're known properly, jumpers.
Yeah.
But for us, it's absolutely amazing. So what is not to be happy about? And as mentioned, yes, you're hearing it here first on the Rough Cut Golf Podcast. We have signed a club deal with Titleist. Now, this is a partnership. It's us and it's Titleist. We are already kind of signed up with FootJoy for our shoes as well. And then if you've seen the announcement on social media, we've signed a new clothing deal with Johnnie-O.
So we haven't even spoken about that on the podcast,
so
really.
this, I mean, we will have, but not at this point.
Okay, so let's just explain.
Yeah.
Kieran, which episode is this?
This is episode 111.
Okay. And what does that end? Okay, so we're recording this before 110 has even been recorded.
I think so, yeah.
And then this is going to come out after 110 has been recorded and released.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kieran struggles with the time of when these things are happening most out of all of us, but I honestly don't know what day it is. So
yeah, to be honest, when you two have been talking about this, I'm not even engaged with it. I'm like, I don't understand why. What's the point? Just tell me where to go. Just tell me where to be.
Look at the camera,
and I'm going to just spit bars, as I believe the kids say.
Well. Which kids?
The older kids, I imagine.
Correct.
So just to, again, put everyone in the frame of what is going on here. So this all came together kind of really late last year. So we were trying to figure out what we're going to do in 2025 and beyond with the videos. And one area which I was not entirely sure about was the club reviews. Mm-hmm. So we've been doing club reviews for years now, and I do enjoy making that content, but kind of felt a little bit, I don't know, it kind of felt like we almost hit a bit of a limit with what we were doing with the club reviews. So I was in two minds, shall we carry on doing them, shall we not? What are the other options? And the other options would be to partner up with a club manufacturer so we could make different types of videos that we could potentially have more access, team up with other creators and, get new forms of content with tour players and other ambassadors and just a whole range of opportunities that would open up if we're with club manufacturers. And then it was a case of, once that decision was made, decision was at least postulated. It was a case of asking which manufacturer would best suit what we're doing. I think we put some polls out. You guys quite happily, as far as I'm concerned, did choose Titleist over the others. I think for me, Titleist is one of those brands which throughout the last, 10, 15 years, it's always been positive in regards of the clubs they're bringing out, what they're kind of trying to do as far as being that brand which, everyone can play, but I think a lot of people still see it as the peak of kind of club performance, play performance, ball performance. And, I'm obviously you guys have watched the channel for a while. I'm not just saying that. I think pretty much everyone kind of watching and listening will understand where I'm coming from there. And it's been like that for years and years and years. So when those polls came out and it kind of aligned with what I was thinking as well, approached Titleist, kind of got this thing rolling, and come January we are here.
That is how it happened. I mean, because there is a little bit of a kind of like a blur or like a veil over how these deals come together in the first place. And, there's lots of speculation on the internet about, people's deals with companies and club manufacturers and all that kind of stuff. But it was just as simple as emailing someone at Titleist and saying, listen, we're thinking about doing this. Would you be interested? Was that really how it happened?
Sort of. I mean, when the decision was made, it was okay. So who would likely be interested in doing this?
Right.
We're lucky. We're a pretty big channel. The videos that we're making over the last few years have increased in quality. We are a relatively attractive proposition, I think, for quite a few companies, which is great. We've managed to work our way into this position. So we went out and we approached Titleist. We approached a few other companies as well, just to gauge interest and to see what these ideas would be, because the money and the partnership aspects of this, they're kind of separate in some respects, because the money side of things, as long as you get to a certain size and as long as you get views and as long as you are able to show what you could provide for a company, we're not just talking manufacturer as far as Titleist are concerned. We're talking about anybody. As long as you can show what you can give them, that will take care of itself. And we're in a lucky position where we can do that. This side of the partnership, which is the most interesting and the one we have to keep focused on, is the content side of things. If we sign with X, what will we get out the other side as far as content is concerned? And again, like in the discussions that we had with Titleist and the things that we could do together, they were coming out with ideas and they were coming up with concepts that would only be additive to what we're doing. So.
And I think there were conversations in the office, like you said, there were some other companies in the frame. Obviously, and the people watching who we spoke to first, your first thought was, I'd like to sign with the best, and Titleist is the best. But there were a load of others in the frame, and the conversations we had were, but the money, like you said, the money's great, but what does the content get out of it? And how does the content benefit?
And the thing is, I think and this is one of the reasons why with the club reviews, why we're thinking of changing. We got to a point now where all the major manufacturers, they're all making good gear. There's not a major manufacturer out there who you could point at and say, well, that's not good.
Right.
Everyone's making
hammer drivers.
The main manufacturers. Everyone's making great stuff. So it's not a case of like picking certain brands because the quality of their stuff is simply just better than everybody else. That's not the case anymore. But what Titleist have is obviously great clubs, great ball, but it's also the fact that from an equipment standpoint, it's going to push on other pieces of our content, like the Quest for the Open and the playing videos and all the rest of it. But it's the things alongside that. We went down a bit of a checklist of what they're going to be able to provide for videos, what we can provide them, and there were just lots of kind of tick boxes that came together, and it just made sense. And I think the last few days, as we've been spending with Titleist, the people there and what's going on behind the scenes, and to be honest, how Titleist are kind of like stepping up into this kind of digital world in a way that they've not done before. We went behind the scenes of their new kind of media department, and
it's unbelievable.
There's so much stuff which is going on behind the scenes that I kind of feel that we've had this partnership come to fruition at just the right point. I'm I'm excited about kind of the videos that we're going to be able to do together.
As in, like, they're trying to make new steps as well as us as well. Is that what you're trying to say as well?
Yeah, and also that like Titleist have got this really good combination now where for many, many years they've been a traditional company.
They've always like been for the better player almost at points to an extent.
But you kind of look at Titleist and they've got like heritage. They've got history.
It feels strong and storied.
It feels authentic, which is great. But sometimes you would look at them like maybe, I don't know, 5-10 years ago and say, well, are they kind of in the space to the extent that we would like within like digital and YouTube and stuff like that?
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily like they had a, growing social media presence and were available to see on your scroll. Like they weren't one of the places that you would see on on your feed.
And their kind of scope of what is going on now with digital, with YouTube and all the rest of it has come to this point now where they're actively getting creators on film.
Yeah.
They've got the plans to kind of push it forward.
Yeah, it's always felt like Titleist is golf first and then other stuff second. Almost it's all about make. But like you say, now they're coming into that where they're getting into the digital, and it's great. It's very, very cool. And just to see we're going to get into it a little bit later, but the factory, everything about it, the performance center was it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So before we get to actually going around the Titleist factory and then Pete's fitting, which if you look behind us, you will see Peter's clubs. I don't know if in the edit we can blur them for the entire... if we can do that.
You can't see what they are.
They can't see what they are. But apart from that, which says something very specific on it. We'll get to that in a second. But let's just talk through exactly where we are, how we got here. You speak about Johnnie-O clothing. You spent an entire 24 hours almost naked before we went to Titleist, so that was fun.
That's how I prepare for videos now.
Yeah, we've eaten a lot of food. I think actually we may have had Mexican 3 days in a row now.
Yeah, I mean
right?
we're in the right place.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Talk us through it. How do we get here? What's been going on?
God, when do we?
Exactly.
What day is it? It's a Friday today, isn't it?
Yeah.
That we're recording this. So Friday.
Saturday
It's
morning.
Saturday.
Yeah.
It's Saturday.
Yeah.
It's Saturday morning.
Oh my god, it's
Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us what's been happening.
We got in on Tuesday, and we don't have these very often. It was a proper full travel day. So set off in the morning, got here late in the evening, but with the time difference, we'd basically missed 8-9 hours of sleep a day, a night of sleep. So we got here. Jet lag's been kind of kicking in throughout the week. One of my bags got lost on the way here, so kind of that first day was a little bit stressful trying to get that back, which we did.
Which is great because you're wearing your lovely new Johnnie-O clothing, which is excellent.
Thank you. Well, thank you, kind of, I suppose, Delta.
I think they did a great job. Do you not think? They lost it. I mean, they didn't bring the bag.
They
but
didn't knock on the door. That was the only weird
They
thing.
did a very Uber Eats thing where they just took a photo of it and then napped off.
It's one of those things, like, they got the bag to us. Yes, they got the bag to us the next day, which is great. Thank you. But also, like, they also lost the bag.
Yeah. So the bag got lost, and then the bag was miraculously found on the doorstep. There were a few steps between those two things happening, but I just went out to look for something in the car, and whoa, Pete's luggage had arrived. So that was great.
That was great.
You got your clothes back,
and that allowed us to explore a little bit more. We're kind of like, I don't know, what would you say, like a par 5 away from the beach? Maybe par 6.
A
Tough par 5,
Yeah.
like US Open
600
style
yard.
par 5 away from the beach. And like Carlsbad, where Titleist are based, and a lot of Carlsbad's a bit like a weird kind of golfing town, where all the major manufacturers seem to have their head offices. And it's just one of those places in the US where I actually feel that, I could quite happily live here. Lots of dogs, lots of people.
Yeah, it was quite interesting sort of hearing everyone's predictions as well, because obviously you've got like TaylorMade here, you've got Callaway here?
Yeah, well, I've got a feeling that, I think I'm right in saying this, that Callaway, so I think it was Eli Callaway, basically started Callaway in Carlsbad.
Right.
I don't know why ended up here. But then all the infrastructure was kind of set up around that company, and then all the other manufacturers came here to take advantage of the infrastructure.
Okay, yeah.
And then one thing followed the other. Now they're all in Carlsbad,
so like,
California.
we had like Honema predictions. We had Callaway, TaylorMade, and then obviously not very. I hadn't seen many Titleist like predictions
in the Discord when we asked. It was tricky because we worded the question in a way that. What's something here? Oh, she's giving me directions to the beach. Dismiss. I was looking up how far it is to the beach. It's half a mile, so it's a very, very long par 5.
Or 7 yards.
It's let's think about
half
it
a mile,
in
750 meters.
Yeah, it's like 800 meters.
How is it?
Yeah.
That's a very long par 5.
Yeah, it's a big long one.
Right, hey, listen.
Wow.
Hey, players are getting stronger.
Yeah.
Par 5 and a par 3.
Yeah. Well, maybe yeah.
Par 5 and a par 3.
Oh, you wait until you see how many more yards Pete hits his driver now.
Yeah, I think it's par 5. If I'm being honest with you. Yeah, food wise, it's just I've got Mexican every day.
Yeah. Okay. So we
Trader Joe's subs or whatever they are.
Yeah.
No,
Where are they
Joe's.
from?
Mighty Joe's?
Carl's Juniors.
What?
And what are they called?
Mighty Joe's?
Go
No, it's
what are
not.
they?
It's
Mighty.
No, it's
no.
not.
Something
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's.
Mike's.
Jersey Mike's. Yeah, and
Jersey
we've had a lot
Mike's
of
subs.
donuts. We've had
Oh
a lot
my
of
god,
donuts.
those donuts.
No. We have not had a lot of donuts.
Yeah, I've had a lot of donuts. I'm Mick, and I'm a donut addict.
Like a plague of locusts flying through.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely worried
Well, don't be.
about your risk of diabetes, like just inching up by the day.
It is amazing.
You're worried. I'm worried about your caffeine consumption, but I just accept it as part of who you are, and I know that your body has adapted to
but
live with
caffeine's
it
good for you.
in doses that are normal, and I don't know whether your doses are normal.
Perfectly
My
normal.
doses of donuts definitely not normal,
No,
but my body has adapted. It has got
It's,
fatter.
like, it's the fact that these donuts are not like English donuts. These are like deep fried cakes, and they're just like
they're massive. The Cronuts
massive,
thing.
like-
Yeah, they were huge.
Cronuts thing.
I had one with bacon on it yesterday.
you've had about
Yeah,
you've
that
had
bacon
6
was
in the
good.
last 2 days.
Oh, more than that.
Is it 6, 7?
But it's not just like the size. It's more like when you have one, it's like enough.
Yeah.
Do you know like smoked salmon, for example? If you have enough smoked salmon, your body is like, you know what? I've had enough. It's like too rich.
Yeah.
If I have any more, I'm just going to feel ill. After one donut, like that's enough.
Yeah,
Especially one of those things.
Sometimes it's enough.
I didn't feel very well after one of them.
Like
I think after the third one, I thought to myself, probably stop now.
Oh yeah,
They're so good though.
they are good.
Yeah,
Anyway,
right.
there's been lots of great food. The weather has perked up. It was a little cold. When you're not in the sun, it was a little chilly. We had hoodies on while we were filming yesterday. But, all of the people who live here are walking around in trousers and...
Well, Jacqueline had hand warmers.
Yeah, which was
Honestly,
absurd.
She was like, "Do you guys want hand warmers?" It's
We
like,
were like,
Jacqueline, if you're listening, that was one point where I was literally it's 15 degrees centigrade outside, so
Yeah.
whatever that is in Fahrenheit, I have no idea. But that's like a good, nice spring day.
it's so lovely. Yeah.
Shorts and a long sleeve.
You
Yeah,
wake
yeah.
up, you vault out of bed, you throw the curtains back, and you're like, it's going to be a beautiful day.
And it has been.
Yeah.
But that was a little...
not
That
hand
was the
warmers.
hand warmers was a bit much. Okay, so let's get to it. We did all the things we needed to do. We had a rest day. I haven't had one of those on a trip before. A day where we did no filming, and we just schmoozed around.
Yeah, it was a nice chill day, actually.
Yeah, it was great. And we watched Arsenal beat Tottenham in the North London derby, so that was uber excellent.
Oh, yeah, apart from that beer.
Oh yeah, the guy in the bar, Pete was waiting for his bag to arrive. Billy in the bar. We'll find the name of the bar. Heroes and something.
Heroes and Long Johns or something.
Something like that.
something like that.
Anyway, we're watching the football. Pete was waiting for his bag. The bag arrived. Pete grabbed a shower, put some clothes on, met us at the bar to watch the football. And on the text message, get me some like a hazy beer. Nice afternoon, watch the football. Hazy beer. I said, Billy, Pete wants a hazy beer for when he arrives. He goes, oh yeah, I'll get him this. And he slams it down. We pay for it. Pete arrives, and the guy on the other side of the bar goes, be careful with that. And we were like, what do you mean? He goes, oh, it's 8.5%. Pete drinks it and goes, tastes like 8.5%.
I thought it was more.
No, I think it was 8.5.
Yeah, he said
8.5.
8.5.
Yeah, well, I was halfway through when he
Yeah,
said
but you
that.
drank it quickly as well because you were thirsty.
I was halfway through and I was like, this is thick. Like,
Yeah,
it's a bit syrupy, this. And I was like, oh, God, I'm not sure about that. I was feeling a bit, yeah. So anyway, don't stay away from the 8.6 beer in John's and Dave's, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was touchy. And then the next day, we got to business. We got to work. And we went to the Titleist factory, which was wild. It was like seeing the inside of, you know, like when they like open up an anthill and you can suddenly see, or like a beehive, and you're like, oh my God, there's all this crazy activity going on inside this building, which looks unassuming from the outside. Yeah, it was really good. What did you think? What did you think of the Titleist factory, Peter Finch?
It was overwhelming. I think when we went in there, we were a little bit jet lagged for a start, so that didn't help. And then all of a sudden, you just presented with this kind of facility, which is everything that I'm crap at.
Okay.
Just from like an organizational spreadsheet precision standpoint. I just didn't. I think I said this. I think Jason was showing us round, and I said this to him: is there's nothing in this place that I'd be good at. I'd just be crap at everything in there, and it kind of made me feel a bit sad that I'm like so stupid compared to everyone else in there. Just I want to put this in perspective a little bit. So this is the hub of all kind of equipment as far as like the forging and the shafts and everything else that gets produced all around the world now. And for Titleist, all those components come into this facility in Carlsbad for the clubs to get built for like North America, South America. And the computer systems and the way that it's all organized and ordered. So you get all these shipments of heads. They're all kind of like, their spec is, say, like a standard spec. And you've got so many standard specs going. So this will get shifted into this line. It'll get put on this cart. This cart will get taken to this cell assembly line. It'll start at the beginning. It'll be scanned with the barcode. This is the head. This is the shaft. And then it makes its way around this. I think they call them cells, don't they?
Yeah,
cells,
like a U-shaped,
like manufacturing cells
Yeah.
kind of thing. They make their way around. So like the head goes on, the loft and lie is checked, the shaft, it just keeps going around. Then off the other end of that, these clubs are just produced, then boxed up, and then like into the back of the FedEx and driven away. And it's like I think it's 30,000 clubs a day.
Yeah, well, it was free. It's going to produce, that factory alone was going to produce 3 million. Like it makes 3 million clubs
Like across
in
the year.
a year. Yeah.
Honestly, it was just
So-
mind blowing.
It was, yeah.
Like the way it was all working and the standards and the precision of everything. That's probably what surprised me. I don't know why I had it in my head that with so much going on that you couldn't be like as precise as that. But it was cool. I'm not like an engineer. I've not really got an engineer's mind. You know, my mathematical ability is absolutely crap. I like everything in there was so confusing for me.
Yeah.
But it was just really cool.
It was just a really cool sort of production line, and I really liked it that, you know, everyone could do everything.
Yeah.
I really liked that, and you could sort of change, and, you know, if you were on the bending of the of the bottom, you could do that, but then also go onto the gripping, like everything they do, and they would switch around on a 2-hour sort of basis, wouldn't it? It was really, really, really cool to see, and it's a really well oiled machine, but also that there's a lot of like human involvement as well, which is really cool as well.
It was nice to meet some of the video, I believe, is coming out tonight.
It'd be today, yeah.
today.
So
today.
the tour of the facility video is coming out tonight. And we got to meet some of the people who work there, and obviously, like, everyone's really cool. Everyone's happy to say hi. But it was very odd because it felt like we were really, really welcome. And you know, sometimes if you go into someone's place of work and they're all like, "Oh God, I'm trying to get this done," but everyone was like, "Hey, how's it going? So I'll stop what I'm doing to build this club for someone and talk you through my entire process." And it was.
Why won't you look at us?
Yeah.
Look how friendly we look.
Yeah, but we also had giant cameras and we were like shoving them in people's faces and stuff. So it was wicked.
I
I really
do
liked
completely
it.
understand what you mean as well. Of like, there were some incredibly intelligent people there.
So
like,
smart.
from not only from the factory floor, but obviously where we went as well. Also, I don't know if we can talk about that.
Oh
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know,
Went to this. There's a place called Area 31, which is like the research and development side of the business for Titleist, and can't film in there, so we just had a tour.
Yeah, here's a picture of Pete outside it. That's
that's about
that's
it,
the best we could get.
And to go in there because they had all like the testing machines, like the air cannons of like testing club durability. That was one thing that
was amazing.
That was so good. That
There's
room.
one thing that took me away actually because when they get products in, they test and they've got a 2-year life cycle. Most Titleist products.
Mm-hmm.
So like the GT clubs, the drivers and stuff which we got fitted for, that's going to be the line of woods for the next 2 years, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they continue to test those clubs throughout the life cycle of 2 years to test, like, if anything kind of wears away in a certain area, if anything doesn't look right cosmetically within a certain time frame, and then they'll like refine the process. And to have a whole section of like the warehouse really designated for that and all the tests that were going on, it really, I don't know, it just kind of it just surprised me. I didn't really understand like what was going on behind the scenes. I wouldn't have expected
what we saw.
Yeah, and to be that level. Like that weather machine, they had a weather machine where they were putting heads in and they were setting it to certain weather conditions. And they were like speeding up the process of saying like what this club would be put through within 6 months of being within this certain weather condition.
Nuts.
One of them was like by the sea, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
by the sea.
And they were throwing like sand at it.
I'm sure was it like Vietnam or like it was Asia specific, like an area of Asia where they were putting the salt levels that you'd expect to have in the air and the humidity, and it was speeding up the process to see what it would do to a raw head when we were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
And
like,
those heads just look battered.
yeah.
Inside that like that box thing.
Yeah.
So then they'd like be testing different finishes and all. It was just, it was mind blowing. And the Area 31 behind the scenes, probably the coolest bit was we had a look at like where they were doing like some of the testing, the air cannons. For me, it was when we got through to the milling shop and all the CNC machines that they were making irons for Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, so
At the time,
they had these, I don't know if you've ever seen a CNC milling machine in action, but basically a giant drill comes down and rotates very, very quickly and slices off very small slithers of metal, and they fly absolutely everywhere. So it's in this box. But we walked up and there was these like great big chunks of metal on the desk. And we're like, what the hell are these? He goes, oh, well, in about an hour, they're going to be Wyndham Clark's new irons. And we're like, what? That doesn't look like a golf club. But like, then he put one in and it started to do its thing. And we were like, oh, that's going to be a 9-iron, like very, very soon. And they had Justin Thomas's on there. They had Wyndham Clark's. They had some Jordan Spieth stuff.
Well, we asked him.
Cantler.
We asked him what was like. Who have you built the most clubs for? And I think he said Patrick Cantler's wedges.
Yeah. Apparently
So
he's a very quick wedge swapper. So it's like, 6 months later, I need a new set, and they knock them up for him, completely custom every single time.
It just shows sort of the detail that they go into. And I don't know if that's the same across the board for any other company, but like this just seemed special. Like it just seemed different, like what they do.
Well, I think when you get to tour pros, every company has like dedicated sections,
like a tour section,
a tour department.
Yeah.
But this was that was by far the most impressive one I've seen.
Yeah, it was so sick.
It was just
so good.
different, like literally different quality.
And like I say, they're all a lot of them have been there for a long time.
Yeah, that guy been there 31
years.
years.
Chuck had been there for 20 years. Like all these sorts of people that have been there for so long. And they're all there.
That guy, and I actually said this while we're there, but that guy has been milling clubs for tour pros longer than you've been alive.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
It was also like the one thing that struck me, and when you went into certain sections, like there were people there who, their expertise in that section was like really like deep, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
And they were almost. I've no idea if this is the case, but it kind of felt like the guys like Gabe in the robot room when he was like hitting the drives and stuff. It kind of felt like they'd just say to Gabe, okay, this is you, and they'd just leave him to it. And like Gabe would just like ferret away in this in this hitting room.
Oh,
and
look at this thing I've discovered.
yeah. And I don't know. It's just
It was honestly, I don't know if any of our viewers have seen this because it might be a very UK specific thing. But do you remember Dexter's Lab? The TV show on Cartoon Network.
I don't
Anyway,
watch TV.
basically, yeah, of course you don't. You were too busy grinding at a young age. Basically,
down the
he's
mine. Mate.
it's Preston for you. He's like this boy genius, and in the behind the cupboard in his bedroom, he has a laboratory, and he just does all of these mad experiments in order to try and And it felt like that was what it was like. You walked behind the door, and in there was just people trying to learn stuff and then apply it to make golf clubs. It was nuts.
It also, like, going around, it made me think that there's definitely people out there that love golf and are so sort of like, I don't want to say geeky or nerdy, but like they are. People are so love golf clubs, and I just thought, especially something like an Area 51 or where we went to in the factory, like
Area 31.
Area 31.
51 is where they keep aliens.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're different places.
Sorry.
I think you can film in there, actually. They like it if you...
But I just thought, God, like, I'd love for people to see this. You know what I mean? And I think that people would love it. And
so we're announcing our new podcast series where we're going to interview one by one all of the
metallurgists.
Oh God!
Behind the scenes.
The comments would be unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, and that was the first stop, and we filmed all that, and then we went over to somewhere where I felt a little bit more at home, and somewhere that kind of blew me away.
Well, it's going to be your home, hopefully. They every time we spoke about how much we were enjoying it, they were like, "Oh yeah, but you're going to be coming here all the time," and we were like, "Oh, we are." Like this is now where when we come to the US to come and film things, this is where we're going to be. TPI was absolutely ridiculous. When we drove in, all of us said, "Wow."
Oh yeah, you just look to the right-hand side and, all this just sort of almost looks like a golf course, doesn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Like it just looked like a golf course.
Did it feel the same for you when you drove in?
It was by far the greatest driving range and practice facility that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was, the thing is, so Titleist Performance Institute, that again, TPI has been a name which has been around for ages. Like when I was starting on my PGA training, TPI was something that you could get certified in, and it would be a real additive to advertise with your coaching.
Right. Okay.
And this is obviously quite some time ago.
TPI qualified.
Yeah, exactly.
got
Yeah.
you.
Now this is quite some time ago, and there's been a facility where you could go train, and which gives advice for quite some time. It's just undergoing like this massive renovation at the moment. All the driving range is kind of like finished, and as we drove in, we looked over to the right hand side, and it's Dave McClay Kidd, the course architect, who's been drafted in to design this driving range, which probably should give you an idea that this ain't a normal driving range.
Yeah, it was not normal.
It's just every single, there are like 9 greens on there. Every single one of them, the greens are running like 11 on the stem. You can play a little short course round there. The entire thing is one massive hitting area. You've got multiple putting greens. You've got multiple facilities that you could get measured as far as like biometrics. You can obviously get your swing measured there in a gazillion different ways. It was just all designed around player improvement, playing performance.
Yep, they had a gym in there that you got to do a nice warm up in. They had, this is nuts, right? But there was deliberation over which of the tees they were going to do your fitting at. They were like, "Oh, do we want it in facing southeast so that we can get that out?" And we were just like, "We just need grass."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, we've got this. We've laid this fresh bit for you, and it's not been touched by anyone else. Here you go."
Yeah. Well, when we went up to the top end, they're building a new like wedge facility on the back right of the range.
Yeah.
And when we went up there, they were just talking about, this bunker has different sand density. We're going to get some different types of roughing. The levels of detail were just like far and beyond anything that I've ever seen before. And that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of like excited about this. We can get back and we can do more stuff there.
Yeah.
And to have that as like the possibility to actually practice that is scary.
Yeah.
And we got to film a nice swing quest from that tee as well. So
Yes,
that's cool.
we did.
Yeah, it was at the other end of the range. So you're like hitting towards the like the main building. But it was just as nice over there. It was at the bottom of the range. Didn't expect it to be great, and it was lovely.
Well, the whole thing was just like a perfect fairway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And like we'll throw up some footage of it, but just
Could be a putting green.
Yeah.
It could have been a putting green.
it did to be right
It
now.
did to
That
be
is
right
a point
now,
where
though.
On the way, I was a little disappointed because on the way out, well, not disappointed because of where we were going. We were about to go and do something very special that also we weren't allowed to film. Damn. But on the way out, they were like, "Oh, we'll get you. Come back later, and we'll play like a 9-hole short course routing around the." And we were all like, "Oh, please!" But we had stuff to do. Where did we go after that, Peter Finch?
we after that went to the Scotty Cameron secret putter studio.
God. Again, not allowed to film in there, but we did. We weren't allowed to film downstairs, but we went into their offices upstairs and we had a look.
You literally just will not believe what we saw in the Scotty Cameron offices. It was just unbelievable. Like, it was insane.
I've never been to somewhere quite like that before.
Yeah.
I don't really know where to start. So Scotty Cameron in itself is part of Titleist.
Yeah.
But it felt again like Titleist said to Scotty, said to that section of the business, you go away, do your magic, and then we'll check in every now and again.
Yeah, just as long as you keep making great putters.
We'll see what you're up to.
Yeah.
And the putter studio that we're at, it's where the research and development's done, like between Scotty, between the tour players. So you can only get certain putters from that facility. Mm-hmm. So like the Circle T stuff, like certain stamping, the tour issue only putters will come from there. And the reason we're not allowed to film behind it is behind the scenes is because of all the research and development and all these new things that they're developing there. And managed to get in there, get my putter fitting.
There it is.
And have a lesson as well. It was, I don't know, the whole vibe of the place was just so unbelievably cool. Yeah. And again, you just got this overwhelming sense that you had a group of people there, maybe that we saw 20 people.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a big room.
Not huge, no.
Yeah.
They're all just absolutely like into this whole
Loving it.
process, like into this Scotty Cameron vibe. And probably impressive when we went upstairs and we saw like the gallery, the library of head covers. Just stuff like that is, yeah.
It was
Talent,
so cool.
very, very talented people there, like from not just from the making of the putter, but also just their designs, everything. It's just, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. And you know what I'm like? The amount of putters I go through a year.
Yeah.
Like they literally put me, I was a cat and they practically just threw me into a room full of mice.
Yeah.
I was wondering where you were going.
Like what, like, and I had to walk out of there with one putter.
Yeah, and you did make a very, very bold commitment, which will end up on social, which will end up in the fitting video.
Well,
do you want to tell us about that commitment on the Rough Cut Golf podcast as well, Peter Finch?
Well, I'm going to, can I show a clip? Do you think?
God.
Like behind the curtain a little bit.
I think that's quite cool.
I think
like
you can.
it.
Show us your putter. Okay, so first of all, wasn't planned. Second of all, you're the first people in the entire world to see this
and this
thing
is,
because it's not even out yet.
And if you're watching, if this is audio, I feel sorry for you. So get over to YouTube right now.
So this is a Scotty Cameron fastback. It's from the new studio style range. Got like a little stamping on there, and this was basically coming straight from the back, the factory.
Yeah.
What is kind of impressive is that Paul, who was doing the fitting, I've made the commitment for basically this to be my putter throughout 2025, so I can actually put the practice in, get the grinding in. But this isn't actually going to be my putter.
What?
Spill the beans.
What do you mean?
So Paul is taking like this design and all my specs that we went through, and he's taking it through to the tour department, and he's getting me a Circle T tour issue only putter.
Oh, God's sake. So hold on. So 1 second. The one that they've given you to use temporarily, they also stamped Peter Finch on it.
Well, yeah, of course.
This is going to fall over now.
I mean, like it was, I don't know how much we can say this, but like it was very cool. Like when he was sort of giving examples of putting you next to someone else of a good posture and stuff like this. And, one of them was none other than Tiger Woods.
Oh, yeah,
It was just like, you got Pete and then you got Tiger just on one screen.
Paul knew what he was doing. So he gave us this putting lesson, and then like every example he kind of put up was every famous kind of Titleist player throughout the years. Yeah. So it's like, oh, you know, this Tiger. It's like, oh, what about this setup here? Have a look what Jordan does. And Jordan said, what about JT? And JT. Then Scotty came up, and I'm like, come on, do me a favour.
Yeah, it was. Again, it felt like they had kind of left him in there to do his thing, and he kind of lives in that little room. Like your teachers always stay at school. He's always there, and you went in, and we were. It was quite right, like what Jacqueline said. She was like, I could tell you were itching to film it. I could not think about snapping pictures, and I resisted, thankfully, which was good. But yeah, it was such a cool place, and the like laser guided putting, and them like filming you from like 15 different angles, and then him working out that you slightly sway your shoulders, but that's fine because everyone does. And like, God, it was. Do you think your putting's going to be better this year? Is it because of the putter? Is it because of the grind and the putter? Is it because of you're inspired? Like, you've got one putter for the whole year. I want.
Paul definitely feels like someone that could help you a lot.
Yeah.
For me, it's the one negative that we're going to have about this partnership.
Oh.
That I have no excuses. Which is
exactly.
Which is a real problem.
Yeah, it's a problem for you.
As far as the clubs that I'm gonna, I can't. I'm gonna get set up for the best possible success, and then it's just up to me to kind of practice and just grind it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, they like I said, they invited us to come back whenever we want when you want to go and practice. So. Yeah. Any time we need to come and film stuff in the US, let's come here and give you a couple of days of just grindage and lessons. And
think how good if you spent 2 weeks here and just like
maybe
you just played golf and we're there, you know.
What do you mean? Just play golf?
Bank all the videos. You just go away.
What is he talking about?
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
Bank
Before
the video,
Quest for
we
the
just
Open.
go away, and then you just do your thing, like
walk on the beach, have a coffee, head up to TPI, knock out a few hours on the range, have a short game lesson, have a putting lesson. Me and my golfer here. Mm-hmm. I think this is this is the thing, and this is what I need to try and get through my big fat head is with the kind of new partnership, and what it means is the content that we're going to be able to make. It is going to be more focused around playing, around Quest for the Open, around competitions. You know, something that we do which is different, essentially. You know, we're probably the only one of the large YouTube channels that still focuses on playing in competitions, and I really want to predicate those videos on the fact that I'm trying to get better, trying to improve, and then I can pass that knowledge on. That's what I've really been keen to do literally throughout the whole Quest for the Open series. Now I've got the opportunity to do that. But it's having the discipline to be able to say, okay, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be able to actually take this week off, and I'm going to be able to practice rather than, panicking. Yeah, I think if we have this conversation at the end of every production year, and we say to ourselves, next year we're just going to get better at planning, and we're going to try and get ahead as much as possible so that, like you say, you can practice and do the work that is required for you to play good golf. The incentive now is if we plan and get far enough ahead, you can come out here for a week and go back to TPI and have another lesson and really do the hard work. Like you said, the hard work starts now because there's no excuses. You're set up to play your best golf.
I mean, there's some excuses. I can find some.
Oh, of course you will.
I've no problem there.
Yeah.
I'll figure that out.
Yeah, I'm not good enough.
Wow.
I haven't practiced.
Wow, that's.
I didn't sleep.
It's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Yeah. Although you did go for a run the other day, which I was very impressed with.
I did. I should have really gone for one this morning, but I actually had a relatively full night's sleep last night, and I wanted to extend that as long as possible.
Tomorrow, we'll go for one tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe. We could. I suppose we could. We're actually leaving tomorrow. We should probably tell people where we're going to go.
You tell them.
So we're going to the Farms today to play first round with new clubs.
Jason Dorfman's
going to host us. I don't know how this is going to go. Obviously, I've not really played much in the last month, and I've got a brand new set of clubs, so it could be It could be amazing. It could be a scrap. Who knows?
Do we know anything about yardages yet, apart from what you...
Literally nothing.
Yeah,
Okay.
literally,
But
oh,
apart
God.
from what was in the fit-in, I've got a rough idea of the gapping.
Run back through the footage and just have a quick look at the data. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I am interested to see what's going to happen with the driver as far as like the distance is concerned, because like the distance gains from the fitting were large.
Yeah.
And considering I wouldn't really class myself as a short knocker anyway last year, this could be, very, very interesting.
I think you've gained distance, and I think inadvertently you have gained control, because there we had some not big, but you had some issues with the gapping at the bottom of the bag around the wedges area, which Aaron, it felt like he was so excited to solve for you. So that's going to be great. So more distance, more control, more consistency.
Oh yeah, I think Aaron is sending me through some other wedges as well.
I know. Yeah.
Which are slightly tweaked.
Should we save the reveal of the names for the wedges, and we'll do a social post?
Oh yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
do that.
Pete got to pick what he wanted stamped on his wedges, and he was very on brand, so that was good.
Thank you.
So yeah, we're going to the farms, and we're going to play that first round, and then we're going to go for a run in the morning, and in fact we might be going out for dinner with
Yeah, I think I'm going Piers and Andy. Maybe Trotty as well.
Trotty
tonight.
around. Oh, love Trotty.
Yeah, so going to a meal tonight, and then we've got Sawgrass
And we're going to play TPC Saltgrass.
on Monday, which I'm very, very excited about. Somewhere I've not been before, somewhere which has been on the list for quite some time. Yeah. So we'll see how we get on there. And then also Bay Hill.
Okay, back-to-back days.
Yeah.
Two of the most difficult, most iconic courses in the US.
I mean, Sawgrass, I've actually no idea how difficult it's going to be. From the looks of it and from what other people have said, if you play well, it sounds quite obvious, but if you have a decent ball striking day and you can position the ball, it's not the most difficult in the world. Like, you can have a good round there. And it's obviously, the greens aren't going to be at 13 like they are in the tour events, and like conditioning wise, it's going to be great, but it should be a little bit more playable. Than,
Slightly easier pins than
I think
tournament
so.
days, yeah.
Bay Hill. I have played
Not so much.
I have played Bay Hill before, and I thought it was one of the hardest courses I've ever played. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it because I can shape the ball a little bit better now from right to left, and it is a drawer's golf course in that respect.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, if you've never played Bay Hill, that you've basically got every hole almost. You've got water on it, okay,
Yeah.
and it's always somewhere bloody awkward.
It's right in my driver
Yeah.
range.
Middle of
It's
the
right
fairway.
down the left.
But when I've played
Middle of the fairway. That's a puddle.
not in Florida.
Yeah.
When I've played it in the past, it's always you got water to the left, and when we're playing it, it's is it going to be the same? When's the Bay Hill Invitational?
The week before the players, which I believe, so the players I think is the 9th to the 17th. Did we look or something like
So
this?
it's
11th
going
to
to be
17th?
end of Feb.
So
Yeah.
Jacob has scheduled it so that the video comes out the week before the
Okay.
tournament.
So we'll probably get it as it's getting ready for tournament conditions. Because the last time I played it, it was the same, and you had water on the left, for example.
Yeah.
So you'd want to bail out right. But what they do, they narrow in the fairways, and on the right-hand side, the rough is like as thick as a jungle.
Yeah.
So every time you bail out, you then have to like either hack it towards the green, but the greens are so firm that you can't hold them unless you're in the fairway.
Yeah.
So there's so many holes where you bail out and you're just chipping and you're scrambling and you're desperately trying to get up and down.
Yeah.
And then if you go for the shot and you miss and you're in the water, you're obviously going to be dropping. It is non-stop.
Yeah. And I think Bay Hill has lots of, is quite close to houses as well, isn't it? Like on some of the holes.
Yeah, there's a few surrounding it, but like realistically, any golf course, if you're into the houses, then that's
Yeah.
you got bigger problems. Yeah,
It's always one of the lower scoring, if you mean close to par, like sort of scoring in terms of they're not.
yeah, that's one of the hardest.
Yeah,
definitely.
these aren't. They're not shooting. What is it? That Hideki shot 36 under par sort of thing.
Because Arnold Palmer always,
Wanted to be a US course.
he set it up with the regard that this could host the US Open.
Right.
In reality, in the summer in Florida, it's just not going to happen. It's way too humid. There's other factors at play. But now in this time of the year, it's always like
That's when it plays the hardest.
they can set it up like a US Open.
Okay. Well, good luck with that with your new clubs and your
Honestly,
jet lag and your
I'm really, really, really hoping that I can shape the ball from right to left, and I'm not cutting it everywhere.
Just close the face, mate.
It could be a great day. We could be wandering away from there, having such a fantastic time, or I could be like just crawling away.
Speaking of great golf, the most recent video from today that came out on the channel was you potentially playing your best golf on your own channel. I watched the first kind of 12 holes of it while you were out filming this morning. You play very well.
This doesn't sound like me. What's this?
In your match against the South African champion, Devon.
Oh, yeah.
It's already, it's already out. Isn't it?
It's already out. Now, remember, this is the 164th podcast. This is coming out 12 days from now. We've left South Africa at this point, I think.
I understand, but in real time, it's the most recent video we've released, and I only just got to watch it this morning. So there is good golf in there somewhere.
All right, okay,
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
The most recent video that we've released that
Correct.
you've watched, because
At the
in
time.
the intervening time, there's going to be 2 more videos that gone out, and on one of those videos, I play absolutely crap.
So maybe we don't put that one out.
No, it's got.
I want to keep that perception of great golf.
No, it's got to go out because it's an incredible golf course. I want people to see it, and I want people to see me have a mental breakdown.
Okay. Yeah, we always say either really good or really bad.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah, it's quite something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sawgrass and Bay Hill coming up. Do we want to talk about the world of internet golf?
The world of internet golf. Why? What was that?
Because there's been a couple of kind of like sneaky teasers on the old Rick Shiels channel.
Oh yeah, Rick's.
Do we want to speculate as to what's going on?
I believe this would be out at the time. The announcement would have been out.
It will be, won't it? 'Cause I think
So much time has passed.
I think so. We could have guesses.
Yeah, and then let's see
who's closest.
if we're right.
Okay.
I'm going to think.
Right. So the things we know is like he's blanked out his logo.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that there's going to be something new there.
Could be.
How much he's going to change, I have no idea. He's had that kind of teaser video where he's thinning them down the range in Florida.
You ready? I'm gonna hit the middle of the face on this one. Thinning them down the range.
He's not. I thought they were all right. I thought it was
great.
It's quite a nice video though.
Yeah.
And then the next one that's put out, where it's like a voiceover about like the journey to this point.
Yeah. AI written, I reckon that one.
In my mind, the last bit where he's like, I think he folds his arm, looks to camera, has a bit of a smile.
Yeah.
It looks like the background of a live announcement.
Yeah.
So I think it is.
So I think it's probably something to do with that. Maybe in like a presenting capacity, maybe like doing something around the tour event. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
That would be my guess, I think.
Because they've not had a podcast out for like 3 weeks. And
Neither a main channel video, really,
Yeah.
like a full main channel video.
So whatever's happening there is obviously big. And to be honest, like with all this stuff, and it does get to this time of year where obviously we've had multiple things changing. Obviously, this podcast is coming on a day where we're going to fundamentally change what we do with kind of our content.
you mean
So-
this is coming out on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday? It's
crazy.
You mean
It's crazy.
This is coming out one day late.
I
and the
know.
industry will not recover.
This is absolutely crazy. People are like, they're wandering out on the streets.
I guarantee we will be getting messages. Why is there no podcast today?
Everyone's wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. Nobody panic.
Yeah, everything's changed. Lots of things are changing.
Yeah. And I think, again, it's just that like gradual evolution of what is happening within this space, like within YouTube. It just keeps on changing. And obviously we'll see what it actually is. I've not messaged him to ask, so
Just living as if you're a
yeah.
viewer.
But the thing is, if I'd have messaged him and he actually told me, that I wouldn't be able to say. Would I?
Yeah, that's true.
I would have thought. So yeah, I imagine that's probably what
Yeah,
it's
that's
going
what
to
I
be.
think it is.
You paused his video and discovered.
Well, we saw that Brooks Koepka was on it, wasn't it?
Yeah. So the second teaser where he's got the voiceover,
Right.
we think that there's a bit where he shows a timeline in an edit. And if you pause it, you got to be very quick. But if you pause it, it looks as if he is sat next to Brooks Koepka in
On a
golf cart.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would also play into your potential live connection theory somewhat.
Yeah, I don't imagine Brooks is going to film a video unless it's live.
So that's interesting. Plus, Liv have just signed a deal with Fox to be broadcast on TV for the next.
It's something to do with it.
Something's
I'm
happening.
going for that. It's something to do with that.
I did see a couple of comments that said he's finally broke 75, but I thought that was a bit harsh because he's
Nah,
playing quite good golf at the moment.
One of them was like, he's announcing a 1% stake in Brian Brose's
slice of Tacoma.
That's funny. I like that.
Yeah.
You kind of forget that. Literally, kind of forget that in the last few weeks, obviously, like Brian Bros, like part owners in a
Golf
Tacoma.
company. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole
It's all going mad.
atmosphere.
Peter Finch is not doing any club reviews this year.
No.
YouTubers own companies.
Did that just naturally?
Yeah. Call me.
Let the people see. Let it lie down. Let it lie down.
Oh,
Close your eyes.
Carefully.
Gee,
Well, that's a clip.
unbelievable. I have to blur that out.
Good lord.
Yeah, so
Yeah, lots of things are changing.
yeah, everything's just changing. It's just an exciting time to kind of be part of this space. You know, and we're only in January. Or when this comes out, are we in May?
I was
We don't
going to say
know.
March, but I think it's around March, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's coming out. I think this is actually the 211th podcast. Yeah, so you'll be
We're sitting on this-
6'1" by
I've
then.
been sitting on this for a while.
Yeah. Shall we? We had some minor breakfast. Shall we get some real breakfast and then go and play golf?
Yeah, we need to head off and start filming the farms.
That's cool.
Looking forward to going back, actually.
Yeah.
See if we can beat the score from last time, which I really can't remember what it is.
Did you shoot
3 over.
3 over?
It's-
We
it's
shot
3 over.
75.
We looked, didn't we? Because we had a little bet on the because when we were sort of deciding what videos people are going to edit, and we said if he shoots under what he shot last time, you'll edit it, and if he shoots over what he did last time with his old clubs, I'll edit it or something like that. But we've sorted that all out now, so that's why we.
There was an argument basically about who was going to get to edit Sawgrass and Bay Hill.
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay.
So someone takes the fitting, which is obviously it's going to be a really, really good video, but it is a lot of information and it's a lot of it's well planned. Hopefully we can kind of put it together the way we want, but it will take a lot of brain power. Whereas the Sawgrass and Bay Hill videos are going to be much more creative because we're much more familiar with making the kind of you playing golf at a great golf course type videos. So there was a little bit of conversation about who was going to have to grind to get the fitting as we want it, as good as we want it, and who was going to get to film you getting a hole in one on the 17th of Sawgrass. And it came down to whether you beat your score from last year at the farms today.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Johnny, should we go and beat it?
Yeah, cool. Line up.
Can't wait. You're excited. We're excited. Let's go.
No idea what's going on. Right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, give our Discord a follow, and make sure you give us a 5-star rated review on your favourite podcast provider. We are now heading away to our first round with our new Titleist clubs.
Thanks, Titleist.
So we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
We whispering.